Yes, we do. We had met with the competition committee several years ago and complied with some of the suggestions they made, and have over the years been making the system better and better.
This has been in the works for a while, has it not? Your relationship with the NFL, trying to put this into action, so to speak?
Yes, it has. But, the NFL has explained to us that instant replay took them 7 years before they actually implemented it. And even after that, every competition committee meeting, they brought it up again to find out whether or not they want to keep doing it. The overhead cam, they saw it in another league, football league. For 7 years, they decided that they weren't ready yet, and then finally they did decide to use it. So dealing with the NFL, you just have to learn to have patience.
What's the resistance, Alan?
Actually, this year there is I don't see any resistance because the number one thing at the NFL now is fan experience. And so we believe that our line, bringing the yellow line that's on TV onto the field, is definitely fan experience number one.
It would result in the elimination of the chains, I take it?
No, that's one of the things the NFL didn't want to do. They didn't want to eliminate the chains, so we augment the chains. Although you can, if you want, bring the chains out, there really is no need to, because when they turn the line on, they're getting the measurement across the field then. So it's up to the NFL on how they want to use the system.
What sort of player feedback have you got, Alan?
Amazingly, I'm at the Super Bowl in New Orleans today, and I was in the media center talking to Rocky Bleier, who used to be with the Steelers, who's a running back on the offensive side, and Keith Sims, who is a defensive player for the Miami Dolphins. And I asked those guys exactly what they thought about it, and they liked it so much they even agreed to do an interview with me. I did it on my iPhone, telling me how much they liked it and appreciated it, and how it would make their jobs easier as a player, and by being a spectator at a game, how much more enhanced it would make the game for them as well.
Do you think it's an if, or do you think it's a when?
Oh, there's no question. It's inevitable. This is definitely going to happen.
How soon?
That, like I said, you're dealing with the NFL. I got to tell you, the CFL, the Canadian Football League, contacted us last week. And we're going to be scheduling a meeting to go back up there. But a few years ago, we were already scheduled to do one of the championship games in Canada, and we were all set to do it. And what happened was I think it was a union for the TV network up there wouldn't allow it because they went on strike or whatever, and we never ended up doing it.
Does it matter to you which league, or whether it's the NCAA, in fact, you get to first?
Well, we met with the NCAA when Pete Carroll was at USC. Pat Summerall, who's my partner on this, and I went to visit Pete Carroll at USC, and Pete said, you know what, I love this line. Let's use it in our Notre Dame game at the Coliseum in 6 months. And we were ready to do it, and then we got a call from the president of the NCAA at the time. He's not the president now. And he said, you know what, this isn't fair to the other teams, for these two teams to be able to have the line on the field. So unless the NFL approves it first, we're not going to do it.
So there must be a real art to negotiating with the National Football League, Alan. You want to be persistent, but not to the point of driving them crazy, right?
That's true, and I think I don't think negotiations is what we're going to have a problem with. I think everything's going to go smoothly because it's something they think is very valuable to the game. We believe it's valuable to the game. And it's something that just needs to be done. We'll work it out.
After all those attempts to get the Beatles to reunite, this must be a piece of cake.
Actually, I think that was a lot easier those days. You didn't have, this is me doing the things I did when I was younger, pre-9/11. Everything in business and in life has changed since 9/11. Everything's more difficult by 10 times.
Interesting. How close were you to getting the Beatles back together?
Well, close enough to have met with a couple of them, and had money that was being sent for a fiduciary fund that I had set up for the payment to the Beatles to do the concert, and it was coming in from all over the world. My name and picture about the raising of the money to put the Beatles back together had hit every country in the world because everybody wanted to see the Beatles back together, and that's how I met Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali had called me up and he said, Alan, I'd like to help you get the Beatles back together. And so, when you have somebody like Muhammad Ali on your side, things started to get a lot easier. But then, unfortunately, John Lennon had been killed, and that ended that whole thing.
You think it would have happened had Lennon not been killed?
Oh, yeah, they were all very interested in doing it. We had offered them $50 million, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot of money today, but $50 million 20, 30 years ago was a lot of money. And we offered the Beatles, we offered them $50 million to do a concert not in front of even a live audience. We were going to do it. Muhammad Ali's management at the time was going to actually do it a closed circuit TV to movie theaters, the way they would bring the Ali fights in those days, which was new and novel at that time.
What was Ali like to deal with?
Actually, before I met Muhammad Ali, I didn't like him. I thought he was very arrogant. But when I met him, that's not what he's like at all. He is one of the nicest human beings in the world. I just spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, and although he's got Parkinson's and he's not quick to talk, he is very, very alert and knows exactly what's going on. Great guy. I love him.
I don't think I've ever done an interview talking about Muhammad Ali, the Beatles, and the First Down Laser all in one breath, but I appreciate your time today, Alan.
Absolutely. I'm glad to do it, Barry.